sit in this first chair right here so I can look in your ears and see. Now, do you prefer Dorothy or Betty, or what do you like? Dorothy. A lot of Dorothys or Bettys. And did you know that? Come on. I've got several patients who, Dorothy, they prefer. I call them Betty.
I never heard it.
Yep. Well, now you do. All right. So what brings you in to see us today, dear?
And what did you say?
What brings you in to see us today?
Well, I have a letter.
Okay.
They were going to give me a free screening and clean my ears.
I don't know about cleaning your ears, but I'll take a look at them.
You know what? My sister, she thought she needed a hearing aid, and she had a lecture.
Okay, there you go. Looks like we were going to test you in 2013, and then you didn't. Is that you? Let me see.
My daughter probably put my name in, and I didn't keep it.
Yeah, it was 2013.
She was a nurse. She was Brooks.
Okay.
And
is she still here?
She still works for but she's down in Bloomfield now.
Oh, okay.
What's that hospital called?
Bloomfield, I don't know if it's Mercy.
Yeah.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. It'll come to me.
Say with me. It'll come to me for you.
Yeah, I don't pay that much attention to hospitals except for the ones that I'm in.
Right.
You know. So, what do you think prompted your daughter to put your name in there? Just because?
Well, sometimes I have to repeat. I have to
ask people to repeat. Okay. Okay. All right. I didn't. One thing I was curious about on this.
What? I'm not very good at that.
Sorry.
What are you curious about?
It says, will this be the first time you've had a screening? Yes. Do you notice hearing difficulties? You kind of check yes and no. So I wasn't.
Because, sometimes.
Sometimes.
No, I didn't know it. So I did that.
Sorry. That's all right. It's no big deal. You're not taking any meds, or just?
I don't take medication.
That's awesome.
I take calcium.
Okay. Yeah, well, calcium's a supplement, so
yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay.
At my age, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Usually I get a list of medications this long. Okay.
I got a gym.
Do you really? Where do you go?
Across from the post office.
Okay.
Like
Yeah. I used to belong there when it was.
That's my insurance pays for it.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Security bid.
It's
for seniors. You know?
I know the club very well. I used to belong there when it was the Racket Club.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. It's been a long time though. But, it's a nice club.
Well, I had an accident about 2 years ago. My car was demolished and all that, and I broke a back.
Oh wow.
It was pretty bad. But anyhow, when they came to see me and take care, they had people coming in, nursing on it, and one guy says, the reason you are walking today is because you went to the gym for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why I go now. I feel like I must go now. But I get them all a pep talk. Keep going. It helps save my life.
Okay. All right. Did you have a chance to find anything out about our practice? Did you Google us? No. Okay. I think that's a good place to start. Hearing Unlimited has been servicing Western Pennsylvania with their hearing needs since 1949. So our practice is in its 66th year. And I can tell you it's something we're all very proud of.
Oh, yeah. That's a long time.
We're privately owned. We are not a corporate-owned retail center or a big box store.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why I bring that up, I think there's a definite distinction in the level of patient care. And that's really what this is all about. All right. And I have firsthand experience. All right, I started my career at a franchise. We had 23 locations. We fit one brand of hearing aids, and we took
Is this your only location?
No, we have 4 locations.
Oh,
yeah, I'll tell you what they are in a moment.
Okay.
So we only fit one brand of hearing aids. So coming here to this practice, there was a number of things that attracted me. One, being owned by an audiologist, again, I believe steps up the level of patient care. And 2, hearing aids. So I don't care how good a brand is, it's not necessarily a fit for everyone. So by being able to go in different directions allows me to assess the patient's needs more closely and then provide a solution as appropriate for them. Just going to tell you where the clinics are. There's 4 clinics. We're here at Forbes. We're at Jefferson Hospital. We're at the Imaging Center in Penn Hills and the Medical Arts Building out in Harborville. So last year, between the 4 clinics, there's 7 providers, we were able to help 100,000 people with their hearing needs. Right? It's a lot of folks. Now that's existing patients, new patients, and also patients that are referred to us by other healthcare professionals. We We have an excellent reputation in the industry. Each location has their own network of providers. We use Dr. Felder, Turner and Gottlieb up in Building 2. We use them also in the South Hills and the different ones. I think if you ask any of my colleagues, we're all going to tell you the same thing. We all share the same passion for helping our patients reconnect with their families and their friends. It didn't take me long to see how hearing loss can affect the dynamics of the family. So we're going to do a couple of things today.
Okay.
First, we want to educate you. Our practice is more of a medical model, more of an educational model. So there are things that we feel that are very important for the patients to know coming in. All right, so we're going to give you a little education. Secondly, of course, I'm going to test you.
Well, that's why I'm here.
Right. And third, if you do have a problem, when we find out when we test you, we want to be able to get you the help that you need.
Okay.
So I'm going to move through a lot of things today. If I'm moving too fast, ask me questions, slow me down. Okay?
How long does this take about an hour?
Yeah, probably. Unless you ask a lot of questions. Do you have a previous appointment, or are you okay today? Okay. I thought maybe you had your personal trainer appointment.
No, I went to the gym yesterday and I'll come Friday.
Okay.
No, I was going to work in the yard a little bit, but since it's raining.
No, I think we'll give you a pass today. You know what I want to do? I'm going to take a look at your ears. All right, we'll start there.
One doctor told me I have an awful lot of wax in my ear to get my ears cleaned out. Then my own doctor, he said I didn't, and he didn't want to clean them. Nobody wants to clean my ears out. I'll pay you to clean my ears out.
Well, what you have to keep in mind is this.
What?
You have cerumen glands, ceruminous glands, so they produce wax.
Everybody has wax.
That's
Is that right?
That's right. There's a certain what we would consider a normal production.
Okay.
All right. So you can't see the amount of wax in your ears. We can. I'll let you know.
Okay.
All right. Pull your back a little bit. See, this ear is completely clear.
Is that right?
Got a little bit of dead skin in there. That's it.
Oh.
All right. Let's take a look at this one. This ear is completely clear as well.
Can't believe it.
Yep. So, were you anticipating that there was wax?
No.
What?
I've had my ears cleaned out, and I have big clumps of wax coming out, and where's my sister? She went like I'm doing here, and she's so happy. She said, I don't need a hearing aid. It was all wax. I said, oh, that's going to be me.
Okay.
Now it isn't.
Well, I can tell your ears are clear. So, all right. So, what type of work did you do before you retired? Or are you retired? I never know anymore.
I worked at TJ Maxx for about 10, 11 years.
Okay, so you weren't around any type of intense noise in your professional life?
No, I worked, before I got married, I worked credit.
Okay.
Commercial credit.
Gotcha.
And I had 5 children. And I didn't work for a lot of years.
Yeah, I'm sure. How many grandkids do you have?
12 grandchildren, 2 great-grandchildren.
Wow, that's a lot. They all in Pennsylvania?
Yeah. I have some in Arizona, New Hampshire, West Virginia.
That's quite a distance.
Right.
And then West Virginia is not even in the middle. Do you get to see them often?
The ones from West Virginia I do, and the one in New Hampshire, he comes down every year to see me, calls me every week, he takes care of me.
Okay. What about the one in Arizona?
That's my granddaughter.
Oh, your granddaughter, okay.
And she has 2 children. I don't see them very often.
Yeah. Well, it's quite a distance. So. I'm going to take some notes. You have my undivided attention, but I'm still going to take some notes. That way I know what I'm paying attention to. All right. Is there anything from your perspective today that you feel you want me to pay close attention to? We've already taken a look in your ears. Anything else?
That was the first thing, yeah. Now, I think I'm concerned about the look. If you have to get a hearing aid, I sit behind the man in church on Sunday. That's the ugliest I've ever seen hearing aid. It was gray all around his ear. Ugly, ugly, ugly. And all I was thinking about, oh dear God, I can't have anything again.
Well, let's see where you're at first, but if you need some help, we'll look at some options for you. Okay.
Then I saw a lady around my age. I could see she had one because she had short hair like me, you know. And I'm thinking, I guess if I need one, I thought my hair grow.
say you notice some difficulties, sometimes when people are talking to you, you have to ask them to repeat.
Right.
Is
Well,
that...
sometimes I have a friend I go out with. She's
Yeah.
a widow, and we go out together. We have lunch or movie or something. She talks so loud. I mean, she really does talk.
Softly.
She has trouble with her speaking. I don't know if it's speaking, it's her, I don't know what to call it. She has trouble swallowing. You know?
Okay, so pronunciation is...
And I have a terrible time with her.
Okay.
And sometimes my son, he calls me on his way home from work from New Hampshire in the car, and I have a terrible time. But he said, I'm fine. I'm thinking it's the car, the traffic, you know. And I said, David, please speak up for me. And he does.
Okay.
But I mean, I go to the movie, I can hear. I go to church, I can hear.
Okay. If there's background noise, if you're at a restaurant, there's people talking around you, does that distract you? Does that make it more difficult?
Well, it depends. I think there were a bunch of kids, little kids right next to us. You know, you want to talk to your friend, you know, and sometimes that's right.
And the questions I'm asking you are all the same. I ask everybody the same questions. I'm just trying to get a flavor for what's going on. Once I test you, I'll know exactly what's going on, but I think getting your observations is extremely important. Generally, if you come with someone, then I ask them, because in many cases, you know, 2 sets of ears are better than 1, but the family and friends are more acutely aware of how you communicate.
Don't get anybody. Everybody's working, thank God.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So Denise is your daughter. She lives here?
In Plum, yeah.
In Plum.
I can't remember her address.
That's the nurse.
Yeah, she lives in Plum.
Okay, no, that's okay. And she's still working. She's a nurse. She's in Bloomfield. Okay.
We're going to think about that.
That's okay. That's okay.
I do have a little bit of trouble remembering.
Well, no, I'm
good
just...
at remembering.
St. Margaret's?
No. That's Aston Martin.
Okay. It'll come. I know which one. I can see it coming down, across the bridge. It's like right there.
Yeah.
St. Francis.
Yeah.
It's one of the saints.
Yeah. Oh, no, it's not St.
It's not a saint.
Alpha. I went to St. Francis. Had 3 babies.
Oh, okay. I can ask Lou. He's our ops manager. He spent 30 years in nursing and administration. So.
I feel so stupid.
Well, I'm not. Come on, I can't think of it.
But I mean, I am having a little trouble with remembering.
Okay.
It's like a word, I want to say it, I can't remember it.
Okay.
But, they told me it's not Alzheimer's, it's old age.
Okay. Let me ask you this, dear. Is there anything? I mean, what do you hope to get out of your visit with us today?
Well, I was hoping to get my ears cleaned.
All right. Aside from that.
Wax, but tell me how bad my ears are. You think I'm going to have a hearing aid? I don't think I need a hearing aid right now.
Okay. When you were in the car accident, how many years ago was that?
It was 2 years in October. If I do too much work, I have a backache, so I take long breaks.
Fine. You're allowed to. All right. I'm going to go over these FDA questions with you, then we're going to move along. These are very similar to the questions that you already answered here, so we'll move through them pretty fast. No drainage from your ears, no pain or discomfort, any chronic or acute dizziness?
No.
Okay. Any sudden or rapidly progressive hearing loss in either ear in the last 90 days? So let's go over the audiogram. I want to explain it to you before we do it, so that when I bring it out, it'll make some sense. I do have one last question. Anybody in your family diagnosed with any type of cognitive disorders?
Okay.
Alzheimer's, dementia, anything like that? No?
No. You know, I think we forget a little bit,
That's fine.
My sister's 91, and the other one's going to be 88. So we forget a little bit.
You're allowed. But if you were if someone was diagnosed, you would know it.
Okay.
So that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, we have a lot of paperwork to do, as you can see. So I do a little bit as we go.
I hate filling out.
So do I.
I do.
Yeah.
It
So an audiogram is a graph. That's what we use to map out your hearing. So on the bottom, these are frequencies or sounds that we hear, the numbers that you see, the numbers on the side. This represents a scale of loudness, or a decibel level. So we start at 0. The further down the chart we go, the louder these sounds need to be in order for us to hear them.
Okay, so turn my TV up a little bit. Because they come in and say, why do you have the TV so loud?
Okay.
I'm the only one in the house. I'm not bothering anybody, right?
That's it. Well, it'd be objective. So others are more cognizant of how we hear and how we communicate. So, all right. So I'm going to split this guy right down the center. On the left-hand side of our chart, we will test 125. So from 250 hertz to 1,000 hertz, this is where you're going to hear bass sounds. All right. This is where men's voices are. This is where 30% of the loudness or the volume of your hearing takes place. In speech, that's where the vowels are, the harsher low frequency sounds. So A, E, I, O, and U, very harsh, very low frequency sounds. Now, on the right-hand side of our chart, from 1,000 hertz to 8,000 hertz, this is where you're going to hear the treble sounds. Children's voices are. Do you have a hard time with any of your grandkids when you're talking to them? I mean, I don't know how far the spread is. They're older.
The youngest is 13 now. This is the oldest.
Well, 12 of them maybe being in the 20s.
28.
28. Right. This is where 70% of your understanding takes place. Right? In speech, that's where the consonants are, the soft sounds. For example, the CH sounds, the SH sounds, the Ks, the Ts, the Ps, and so forth. So the consonants tie the vowels together to form words. Now, when we test you, Dorothy, we want you to be right here. This is where the average person hears, right between 0 and 20 decibels. If you're in that range, we consider that to be within acceptable limits. Okay. Now, if you're down here from 20 to 85 decibels, we know you're struggling. We want to get you help now. And if you're down here from 85 to 120 decibels, we can help folks down there, but we are somewhat limited even with today's technology.
Really?
Yeah, we have the latest technology, but it is what it is. Okay. The first part of our testing, I'm going to test your thresholds, the softest sound that you can hear. It tells me how your ears pick up sound. Okay. The second part, I'm going to use this illustration. The second part of our testing, I'm actually going to test certain areas of your brain for a response. Well, we hear with our brains, not with our ears. Okay, most people don't realize that. We see with our brains too. So, all right. So when I look into your ear canal, I want to see your eardrum. On the other side of the drum are these tiny bones. The bones are embedded in the cochlea. This is your hearing organ. Okay. Now the cochlea is completely filled with fluid. On this side, in the labyrinth, we call this the semicircular canals. This is where balance. We look for balance. In the ampulla, right here, there are thousands and thousands of nerve endings. All right. So sound comes into your ear canal, strikes your eardrum, bones move and vibrate, and when they vibrate, they actually send waves, and those waves move through the fluid in the cochlea and brush the nerve endings. The nerve endings send electrical impulses to the brain via these cranial nerves. All right. Now, the areas of the brain that we're going to measure today are very specific. We're going to measure the Wernicke's area. That's right here where the parietal lobe, the temporal lobe, they overlap. That's where speech understanding, or clarity in speech processing. Okay. In the frontal lobe here is where Broca's area is at. Broca's area is where the motor skills of speech are located, and what we call praxis, thought, concept, and action. Okay. Now, there's been evidence, considerable amount of evidence over the last 25 plus years that link untreated hearing loss with a variety of medical conditions. All right. Yeah. There's a bigger picture here than people realize. You know, I can't hear the kids or I can't hear the TV. It's a much, much bigger picture here. All right.
Like strokes and...
A lot of things can affect it. Yeah, I'll touch upon that in a moment. There are things, certain medical conditions affect your hearing, and in turn, hearing loss affects other things. So, cardiovascular disease affects hearing loss. Diabetes affects hearing loss. Hearing loss affects, well, actually, it's not an effect, but hearing loss has been known to increase the risk of falls. With poorer hearing, you're not as aware or cognizant of your surroundings. All right. The one that we feel we want to cover some today is most important. Hearing loss has been known to increase the risk of early onset of cognitive disorders, Alzheimer's, dementia. All right. I know you've heard the phrase, if you don't use it, you lose it. It's everywhere. It's all through the art magazines and all that sort of thing. We're going to talk about that today in a very, very broad sense. All right. So I'm going to give you an analogy. We, in our industry, tend to treat the brain as if it were a muscle. Not an organ, but a muscle. So think about this for a moment. The cochlea sends information to the brain via these neural pathways. Think of that information as a form of stimulation. It's like exercise. Okay? So if the brain were a muscle, you exercise. What happens when you don't exercise for a while? Your muscles weaken. And they shrink. And eventually they atrophy if you don't exercise at all. And that's the process that concerns us. All right. There's an article that I'll share with you. I'll give it to you. You can read it at your leisure. I don't know if you get on the internet or not, but if you would Google hearing loss and brain tissue shrinkage, this article comes up every single time. And you have to realize how important that is every single time.
I don't have a picture.
I gathered as much through the look that you gave me, but that's okay.
You know what? I'm not going to get it. Because if I was younger, I would. But how many more years I have on this earth, you know what I mean?
You can't, I'm going to tell you this, and I mean it sincerely. You cannot play the age card in this office.
Really?
I have patients that are over 100.
Oh, you're
kidding.
Absolutely.
So we're going to put that one.
Me.
Yeah, we're going to put that one in your back pocket again. Okay. All right. This is an article. This was a published study that was done by Dr. Lin. Dr. Lin is a very well-renowned otolaryngologist. An otolaryngologist is a surgeon. They're ear specialists. They do not fit hearing aids. They do surgeries on ears. Okay. I mean other things, but primarily ears. So he did a study over 10 years. He published it last year. He did a study over 10 years with 126 individuals, and he actually mapped out their brains. He did MRIs, magnetic resonance imagery of their brains. And what he found is that those with hearing loss actually had an accelerated tissue shrinkage of their brain by as much as 1 cubic centimeter, which is the equivalent of a sugar cube, per year. Okay? And this is the abbreviated version of the article. All right? But to my way of thinking, and again, this is my opinion, all right? If we go right back to what I told you, we treat the brain like a muscle. Less stimulation, just like a muscle, it weakens and it shrinks. Okay? So the goal of our practice, and in our industry as a whole, is to get the patients the help that they need and deserve long before we have to start worrying about these things. And guess what the first step is? Testing. We want to test people not at 83, but at 55 years old. 55 years old. In fact, we'll touch upon it a little bit later. We actually have joined the Mission 1 Million, which is Hearing Unlimited and our affiliates across the country. Our goal this year is to do 1 million free hearing screenings of people 55 years and older. That's how strongly we believe in this. So I may ask you a little bit later for some help. So without any further ado, I'm going to test you. All right. Do you have any questions?
Not yet.
Fair enough. Am I moving too fast? No. Okay. Well, I have to move at this speed. We have a lot to cover. So, all right. So I'm going to send my tester across the road, split screen, so I have to send my audiogram over there. All right. So let's do this. We're going to have you come in the booth.
Oh, boy.
All right. Now, please be mindful when you get in here, you want to sit down, because if you step up, you're going to hit your head.
Okay.
Just put your foot right up, sit in the chair. All right. Now, eventually, I'm going to close this door. Is that going to be okay?
No, I don't get close.
Okay, just want to make sure. I like to know going into it. All right? All right, now, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to test your thresholds. You're going to hear a series of soft beeps. You hear like a beep, beep, beep. Push the button.
Why do I have to push it?
What's going to happen is when I'm going to put that headset on, okay? And I'm going to test your right ear, then your left ear, okay? And you'll hear a series of very soft beeps. That's what your thresholds are. A very soft tone that you can hear.
So if I hear it,
just push the button. Yep. You don't have to push it every single time you hear the beep, beep, beep. Just push it. Let me know you heard it.
Okay.
If you're not sure,
if I don't hear it,
then don't push it.
you'll know.
No. So I'll watch you. If you're not sure and you think you heard it, press the button anyway. All right, I'll figure it out. Now I'm going to try not to mess up your hair. Good. start with your right ear. Sit back and relax when you hear the beat push the button. All right, are you hearing? I'm going to move over into your left ear. All right. All right, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to introduce a sound like rushing water. It's going to be in your right ear only. You're going to hear that sound first. Just ignore it. Listen here, push the button. Area of your brain, speech processing and understanding. First thing that we're take it up one more. Is that better or is that too loud? Okay. Louder than you need it. Okay. Now you're going to hear a series of sentences. Each one is going to begin with a phrase, say the word, and then there's going to be a word for you to repeat. So let me give you an example. You may hear something like, say the word kid word. Just repeat whatever the last word is. Okay? Now that word was carved. That word's good luck. Now, in this ear, I'm going to put that rushing noise in your right ear again. So just ignore it. Repeat back the words that you hear. Okay? I just want to move to the test right now. So now I'm going to test both ears. All right? Is this comfortable or too loud? To finish up our speech segment. We're going to test your ability to understand speech when there's noise present. So you're going to hear a series of sentences. There's going to be a female speaker. Just repeat back the sentences that you hear. Time with that segment. The way this segment is designed, there's a female speaker, right, and her voice stays 4 talkers. The talkers get progressively louder, that's correct. But there's only 4 of them, and now they're both male and female. Now, Dorothy, I have to tell you that if someone's struggling in my sound, okay, makes sense. And you're not alone in this. I do this test every day. I ask the same questions. What a lot of my patients will tell me is if it's family or friends, they most likely ask them ma'am. Yeah, I'm actually going to put a, this is a bone oscillator, and I'm actually going to put it right on your mastoid bone. Just forward of your mastoid bone is your cochlea. Okay? It is.
Okay, what do
All
we
right,
say?
all right. We'll put that guy right there, and this is above. So right here is on, left here is above. When you hear the beep, push the button.
Okay.
All right. Going to use that rushing sound again. In your right ear, just ignore it. When you hear the beep in your left, then push the button. All right, we are finished.
Oh, good, I'm glad.
Yeah, it's a lot of work to do that, I know.
That's a lot of work for you.
Well, I do it every day.
I know. But you know what?
Well, it has to be. We want an accurate record. So if you put your right foot down, grab a hold with your left hand, you step out of there, you won't bang your head, you'll be all right. Why don't you have a seat, and I'll get your results, okay?
I'm telling you how bad I was. Or how good I was.
We will do that.
Oh, boy.
I will be right back.
I'm just sneaking in. Did I scare you? I didn't scare you.
No, I was thought that was coming in. He was coming in. I wanted to tell him something.
Oh, no. I hope I didn't scare you. I should have knocked.
No, you didn't scare at all.
Oh, great.
I was just thinking.
Can't find me a chart. All right. He'll be back in.
That's all right, don't worry about it. I'm sorry.
West Penn Hospital.
West Penn Hospital. There you go.
I think you knew that, right?
I knew one of us would remember.
Yeah, that bothers me when I can't.
Yeah. Well, you know what happens? It would have hit me later on today.
Yeah, me too.
Excuse me, I gotta take
Sometimes
care of something.
I'll call you when I think of it. That's what I tell them.
I go out there, everybody wants a piece of me.
Stay up.
Multitask.
Stay in here.
Got to multitask. Yeah, it's safer in here. All right. Let's go over the results. I'm going to use this as a backdrop here. All right. Based on the results of our test, you have a significant problem with your hearing in both ears.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to lay this out just like this. So the first thing you and I discussed is if your hearing is between 0 and 20 decibels, we consider that to be within acceptable limits, right? That was the first thing we talked about. So we'll split this just like we did. On the left-hand side, all right, where you're going to hear the bass sounds. On the right, the treble. There's your vowels, and there's your consonants. Now, when we look at this, the X is your left, the red is your right. Or, I'm sorry, the red. It's red and blue, but it's a circle is your right. So what we see in your right ear, I mean, you have a significant difference between your ears.
Really?
Oh, yeah, that's what we call an asymmetrical. So typically the ears are closer together. Now, I don't know if that was the result of the accident. Did you have head trauma as well in the accident? No? Okay. We might have to explore this a little further, but for right now. Okay. But it sounds like it was a pretty traumatic accident. All right. Did they do MRIs or CT scans? They did everything.
I had to go to trauma hospital. This is what world's wasn't trauma that, you know.
Okay.
Albany General. Okay. 7 doctors wait for me. I get 7 bills, you know.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. So when we look at this, what it frequencies in the right ear, your hearing is better.
My right ear is better.
Yes. Yeah. But what happens in your right ear, you have a downward slope just like this, and this one you're nowhere near normal, within normal limits. All right. You have a pretty good downward slope here as well. So what this shows me is that in both ears, your hearing is not within normal limits. Okay. You hear.
How bad? How bad is it?
Well, we'll talk about that. Because what this shows me, these are thresholds, but there are other things that we track. And when we tested the Wernicke's area, that's what I'm going to focus on. All right. Normal conversational tones are right here at 40 decibels. All right. So 2 people with normal hearing, it's the volume of their voices. And what you see here, keep in mind that in your left ear, most conversations you don't hear them very well at all, or at all. The right ear is doing all the work. All right. And it's very hard to be objective, and that's something we're going to talk about a little bit as well. So what this shows me here is that you hear the bass sounds in your right ear, you hear the vowels, almost as good as when you were maybe even in your 20s or 30s, okay? But this is what happens. The soft sounds, you really struggle, because look, if you go from 1,000 hertz, and then all of a sudden at 2,000 you're down at 40, and then all this down here, you literally, in speech, you don't even hear those sounds. And in your left ear, I would have to say that speech is for the most part inaudible to you. You hear some of the bass sounds. Okay. Now, if we take it one step further, which is what I'm going to do anyway, all right, we spent a lot of time testing your ability to understand and process words, your speech clarity and understanding. And quite frankly, your listening levels are extremely elevated. All right, because I didn't test you at 40 or 45 decibels. I tested you at 65 in your right ear and 90 in your left. Okay? And here's what happens. You know we did that, I used that white noise throughout the test. The reason that we do that is sometimes the sound or the word is so loud that you think you hear it in one ear, but you actually hear it in the other. Okay? So by putting that white noise in this case we call it the non-test ear, which is your right ear, I'm able to isolate that ear. So it almost doesn't exist. And then we find out what you have to do on the left. And this is what really concerns me, okay? In your left ear at 90 decibels, over 100% louder, you only got 30% of the words. I couldn't even stop you to correct them. We'd still be in there doing it. 30% of the words. And that's at 90 decibels, okay? In your right ear at 65 decibels, you got 90% of the words. Huge difference. So what it tells me is your right ear is doing all the work.
I wonder why one's so better than the other.
Well, I don't know. I don't know.
Because they both do the same. No.
I don't have an answer for it. There could be a lot of things. Again, I don't know how the accident impacted anything. All right, it was 2 years ago. If I had an audiogram from 2 years ago prior to the accident and one right after, I can tell you very quickly that it was this or that. But I don't have any way to do an MRI, a CT scan, or an you know what I mean? So, and when we tested you when there was noise, this is all in complete quiet, okay? When we tested you with the last one, we called it quicksand, speech and noise, you really didn't do well. You got the first little bit of most of the first sentence, and that was it.
No, I think it's too much.
So one thing you have to keep in mind, we're talking about hearing loss and the things that it affects. Hearing loss will affect memory, because you cannot remember what you did not hear or didn't understand clearly. Okay. This has been going on regardless of what brought this on. This has been going on for a very long time. Okay.
So maybe a couple of years.
I'd say longer than that. Not this bad. Not this bad. Most of the folks, you're not alone in this. Most of the folks that I see on a daily basis have waited 6, 7 years, okay, somewhere in that, maybe even 8 years. But even if I look at the right ear, it's a long time in the making. The question I would have for you is, why have you waited so long to do something about this?
Because I can hear.
There's a big difference between being able to hear and being able to understand what people are saying. I don't doubt that you can hear, but I do have my reservations on whether you can understand clearly what people are saying. But you do. You do. Okay. And please understand, my goal here is not to...
Things going on with the water and the people talking, that's fine.
No, that was the last test. That was the very last test. This was all done, this test right here was done in complete quiet. Okay? Now, please understand here, my purpose here, I'm not here to prove whether or not you have hearing loss. That's not it. My goal is to help you. But
You just don't like to hear somebody.
of course not. Because you're, from casual observation, very sharp person. You're certainly lovely, okay? And you exercise, you do all the right things. Okay? So now here I am telling you something that you don't want to hear. That's right. You're not alone. Nobody wants to sit there and, when I hear this. But the thing that you have to keep in mind, okay, there's a bigger picture here. All right? And your reaction is very, very common. All right? Because how can you be objective? You hear what your brain hears, what it determines that someone said, and that's what you go with. Okay? So, let's do this. All right? I would like to do some live word testing with you. Now, I hate to use my voice because I'm easy. Right? I'm a hearing professional. Right? I've been doing this for a long time. My voice is a bass tone where you hear much better, and I speak louder than anybody that you're going to meet that doesn't already have hearing loss. All right? So I'm not the guy to do this test, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm the one here. When we test you in the booth, it's a controlled environment. You're in a vacuum. All right? It's not a natural environment. Nope. You're done with the booth. No, I understand. Nobody does. No, I don't like it. All right? So I'm going to do it right here. I'm not going to use any noise because I don't think we need to. All right? I have a list of words that I'm going to use, much the same words that you had in the booth. And I want to see how you do with my voice. And I think that'll tell us a lot. Because keep in mind, my goal is to help you. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move my chair back just a little bit. About right there is good. And then what we're going to do, because I don't have much distance here, we're going to slide you back so you're even with the file cabinet right there. All right. So I have a list of words. They are very specific words. They're the same list that you had in the booth. They're called phonetically balanced words. They're everyday words, but they're specific. Okay?
What do you want me to do?
Well, I'm getting to that. I want to sit down first.
I'm always ahead of you.
That's okay. I want to sit down first. All right? Is that okay? All right. All right. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to circle the words. Now, I'm not going to make this easy. All right? So I'm going to hold this card up like this. Does not block the sound of my voice, because it takes away a critical component of how we communicate. That's facial recognition. Okay? Some people say, you're reading lips, whatever you want to call it. Okay, if you look at someone's face, it's easier to get meaning than when you don't. But nonetheless, I'm going to speak to you in my normal tone of voice. I'm going to say a word. If your response is correct, I'll move to the next word.
Okay.
If your response is not correct, I'm going to hold the card down and look right at you and say it until you get it. Okay? E-L-S-E, else.
Oh.
Yes. All right. Corpse. Corpse.
Corpse.
Yeah. Carve.
Card.
Carve.
Card. I can't handle this word.
I understand. Clasp.
Class.
Clasp. Clasp. Like,
Clasp.
yes. Fifth. Fifth.
Fifth.
Yes. Knees.
Knee.
Knees.
That's right, knee.
Two knees. You said knee.
Knees. Okay.
Got it.
Well, I should get that, I think, because it's knees. I said the right.
No, you didn't.
Knees.
Pew.
Q.
Thin.
Thin.
Yep. Ease.
Ease.
Sin.
Thin.
Sin.
Sin.
Yes. All right. So, you missed 70% of the word. Okay? So, these are the words that you missed. And you were very close, but you still missed. What happens is this. You cannot hear those soft sounds.
I'm guessing.
You're guessing. You are. You are. So sit there for just a moment, because I'm going to do something a little different.
Okay.
So, think about this, and I find this very interesting. Usually I get to sit here and watch the person while the other person does the live words. And one thing that I could hear in your voice is you were very tentative, because you were guessing. Okay? Now, the words that you knew, boom, pew, thin, you got them. The other words, you were very tentative.
I was guessing. Maybe I'll get one right.
Perhaps. The thing that you have to keep in mind, though, is that you heard what your brain interpreted that I said. And I see this every day. It's hard to be objective. And this is my take on it, for what it's worth. This has been going on, I would have to say, for at least 8 to 10 years. Okay, not as bad, but it's gradual. Okay, and I think that you got very good at compensating, and this is what I mean. So think about this: if I said to you, the little boy bounced the blue, and you didn't hear the last word, ball 9 times out of 10 is going to be ball. It's an easy one to pick up. Okay, but I think what you're finding is you still have to compensate even more now, because there are parts of words that you don't even hear. The soft sounds, you don't hear them. So now what's happening is you hear the vowels, but the vowels don't make the words. You know what it's like? You ever watch Wheel of Fortune? The lightning round or bonus round or whatever? What do? They give you the vowels and you have to guess the consonants. And that is what you were doing every day. So when someone says something to you, by the time you think you figured out what they just said, well, now they said something else after that. And that's where you have to ask them to repeat. And dear, I can see it. I'm not a rocket scientist, believe me. But I see this every day. And I'm not trying to tell you how you feel, you know. The way I look at this, if one of my colleagues handed me that audiogram and they said, hey, what do you think's going on here? I've been doing this long enough. I don't even need to meet you. I know what's going on. The question is, how can we help? But I do have one question for you. If we see it here, I mean, come on, I'm 8 feet away from you, and it's quiet in here. If we see it here, 70% of the words, everywhere. Can you really look me in the eye and tell me you don't see the signs of this every day? Well, that's a huge step, because in the beginning you said, I'm fine. It's hard. It's hard to find these things out, and I appreciate that. I really do. You know. Let's do this. I'm actually going to put some devices in your ears. Okay. And I know the type that I'm going to put in there fit everyone. There's other kinds, but for our purposes today, I'm going to use those. And I have a second set of words. And I'm going to put those devices in
These
your
words
ears.
I don't use all the time.
They're words you use every day. Come on. You may not use corpse every day, but it's an everyday
Hey,
word.
sometimes I don't talk to anybody.
I understand, but we're going to talk about that, because that doesn't let you off the hook.
Oh.
Okay? I'm going to just sit tight. I'm going to put these guys in your ears. Now,
What are they?
they're devices, okay? But this particular kind, these fit everyone. All right. We do have customs, but I can't do this because I have to make them first. All right. Now, when we fit hearing aids, when we use these devices, we do it just like you would go through rehabilitation. All right. When you went through rehabilitation for your back, I've done it with my knees. They start you off at a very low level, but they have a target or a goal, and they gradually move you up to that goal. We do the exact same thing in our process, okay? So what we do is we start you off at a very, very low level, and then over about 5 weeks we build you up to your target, all right? Today, unfortunately, I don't have 5 weeks. I have about 5 minutes. So I'm going to take you from, no, it's not going to be too loud. It's just going to be louder than you're accustomed to, that's all. So I'm going to gradually take you up through the steps after I do this. I just wanted to explain it to you a little bit. Because when I say these words, I want you to hear me optimally. I want you to hear me the best that you can. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put these guys in your ears, and I'm going to put some tips on them first.
Do you ever give a hearing aid for just one ear?
Very rarely.
That's what my sister has just one.
The only time I'll fit with one ear is if someone has a disease of the ear where like Meniere's would only affects one ear. One ear through trauma or surgery or infection is unaidable. But 98% of the time, 99% of the time, I'm going to fit two. Me personally, if someone has hearing loss in both ears and you fit them with one, it's a recipe for disaster.
I wish my daughter was here. She had an office in this building.
Yeah.
And I would like, she'll probably want to talk to you.
I have no problem with that.
Okay.
I talk to people all over the country. I just talked to someone the other day who lives in California.
Wow.
I have to wait till 6 o'clock here to call him because it's 3 o'clock there. All right? I have absolutely no problem. In fact, what I would do, if we do this for you, the delivery. Okay, I think it's important.
She was there yesterday. She was teaching us.
Is just a, this one is kind of a generic fit, okay? But when we make them for your ears, no, that's no problem because they're custom made. Just like, I'm going to turn you a little bit. I don't know if you ever had a crown on your tooth, just like they,
Yes, I did.
okay. Just like they use some goop on your teeth and they make it, we do the same thing for the ears. I'm trying to find the angle of your canal. That's about as far in as that's going to go. Let's see. Yeah, that's about as far as that's going to go. All right. All right, so I'm going to turn them on one at a time. Okay, so the right one is on only. And I'm going to move this up a little bit. All right, I want you to talk to me. I want you to hear your own voice. It might sound a little strange. You can talk to me. Just tell me whatever you want.
I don't know if I like this or not, but
At this point, I'm not.
I'm willing to try.
Okay, good. All right. So that's 100%. That's your goal. Is that comfortable for you?
Sounds good to me.
All right. The left one's a little different because I'm going to turn the left one on.
Oh.
Yeah, I know. It just came on. I'm going to bring that down a little bit. There we go. All right. Yeah, you have, like I say, an asymmetrical loss, and what happens? Here's the crazy part. You're not used to hearing much of anything in that left ear, and you didn't even know it. And I had a patient come in here, and he swore up and down that his right ear was his better ear, and that fine and everything, and the left ear was the one that was the problem, and it was quite the opposite. His right ear was so bad that he didn't hear anything out of his right. And what happens, what you hear on the right side is sent to the left side of your brain for processing. What you hear on the left is sent to the right side of your brain for processing. So it's very hard. So I just listen to what people say and take notes. but that's why it's very hard to tell which ear really is doing better. Okay? Now, is my voice sound okay? Okay. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm not going to mess with it anymore. I'm going to turn the right. Oops, let me turn the right one on. Hang on.
You turn them both on.
I actually turned the right one off. Now they're both on. You may hear a hissing noise. That's actually coming from
I was just going to ask you.
my air conditioner. Can't turn it off. But think about it. That's been there the whole time and you never even noticed it. Okay. Now, is it important for you to hear that hissing noise? Yes, because it's in your environment. Okay.
Yeah.
And you weren't even aware of it.
No.
All right. So, when people tell me, and you know, I had a patient. She was a little bit older than you. She was 92, and she was wearing hearing aids, and she was giving me a hard time. Actually, I was giving her a hard time because she wasn't wearing her hearing aids the way I wanted her to. Okay, I want people to wear them when they're home, quiet. I really don't care.
Do you want them to wear it at night?
All the time. All the time. That was very inventive for a 92-year-old woman, for anybody, 92-year-old person. Okay, but in essence, what I'm going to tell you is that we treat the hearing aids, the devices, like they're not aware of things in your environment like you should. Okay? So let's do a second set of words. All right? So the first one, you're only able to get 30% of the words. Let's see how you do with these.
Okay.
And I'm sitting in the same chair, so you're sitting in the same place, but got some little bit of help. Let's see how you do.
Okay.
All right? All right, ready? Okay. Hand.
Hand.
Peach.
Peach.
Pitch.
Pitch.
Patch. You didn't guess.
One I wasn't sure. H.
Hunt or high, one of those two, yeah. Yeah, you were a little tentative. Okay? Huge difference. And I didn't even fiddle with them. You know, when I do a delivery, and I put them in your...
Hear everybody.
Be easier.
Easier.
Yeah. Okay. Let me do this. I'm going to turn the hearing aids. Are they comfortable or are they a little loud?
No, they seem comfortable.
Okay, good.
It's my voice.
Your voice sounds different, yeah.
Yes, why is that?
Well, here, let me turn them down a little bit.
Because it's hot? Because they're hot?
Well, it's a little bit louder, but what we would do is this. I turn them down a little bit. When we start you off at the lowest level. Right there, I had you at a much higher level. So your brain has to adapt.
Oh.
So the process is that we deliver the hearing aids, and then we bring you back in 2 weeks, turn them up a little bit, another 2 weeks, turn them up a little bit more. So in that 5-week period, your brain goes through an adaptation. So your normal shifts so that becomes normal. Today it's not because it's the first time you put them in. Okay. All right. I'm going to take that blinking device off. It's a Bluetooth device. I'm going to take it off. Now, when I take it off, those hearing aids are going to turn off and turn back on again. When they turn on, you're going to hear some very loud chimes. It's a startup jingle. Every device has. I just want to prepare you. It's not terrible. It's just you're going to notice. Okay. So I'm going to take this guy.
Very complicated.
I don't know. All we really
How
want
long
to...
is their school for?
I still, I have continuing education. I have to do it
Things change.
Yeah. Just when you think you figure something out, then they introduce new software. So let's move you up to this. Yeah. So for me, I currently fit 7 different manufacturers. So there's always new updated software. But I also have to. I have continuing education credits that I have to take, and I'm required to do it. So let me wipe this off. So let me do this. Let me give you some options, okay? I just changed the cylinder. All right. So clearly what we want for you is something that goes in your ear, okay, not behind like that, because I think your canals are just too tight. So, and you don't want people to see them anyway. So.
But how would I put them in?
Oh, they're custom made. I'll show you.
Okay.
What I'm going to do, actually, I had some models made for my ears, and I'm going to put them in. I'll show you exactly how easy it is. All right. Now, these are models. They're just hollow shells, but they're custom made to fit my ears. Okay. Now, red is right and blue is left. That's why they're color-coded. All right. So, now, they're very easy to put in. I'm going to take this guy. I'm going to put it right in my ear. There we go. All right, that's it. So you see that little string right there?
Oh, yeah.
That's to pull them out.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I don't know, how long did it take me to put them in? About 2 seconds, 3 seconds? All right. So that's about how long it would take you to put them in. Maybe 5 because you're new at this.
You don't know me.
Okay. Well,
Everything's hard.
that's okay. Well,
No, that's
then I would spend time with you. I mean, that's not, you know, when we do a delivery, I'll show you how to do 3 things. Changing the batteries, okay? Storing the devices. We have a little canister we want you to put them in. And then how to get them in and out of your room. But these no one sees. Okay? That's, yeah, you can see them. They're right here. Okay? So if I pull them out, now you can see them. All right. So this is what I would make for you. Now, we call these customs, and because they're custom doesn't mean that they cost any more than those. It's just the process. These are customs. Those are behind the ears. All right? So let me give you some options. You do have hearing aid benefits from your supplemental insurance of $500.
I do?
Yeah. Yeah, our benefits manager.
I have to talk to my children because they're going to have to help me.
Okay, that's fine. Well, perhaps what we want to do, when typically, is your daughter available during the day or is she working?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking she can maybe get a day off or something. They're all going on vacation. I'm not going
Okay.
this year.
When are they leaving?
June 20th.
Okay. If you want to give her a call and see if she can work her schedule out to come in, that's fine, because I have no problem with that. You can use my phone in fact.
I don't have her.
No?
I don't have anything. I don't even have my phone.
Okay. Yeah, I think that would be.
I think she might want to talk to you.
I have no problem with that.
You want to give me your card?
Sure.
And we can talk about price. That's what I've been a widow for over 20 years.
Yeah. Well.
And my money's gone. So they help me out a lot.
Okay. The thing you have to keep in mind, dear, is that you know, as a practice, you know, we've been around for 66 years, and most, I would have to say that most of the folks that I see on a day-to-day basis are on some kind of a fixed income,
Yeah.
Social Security.
Absolutely.
So we are mindful of that.
I know.
All right. The main thing is that we want to give you the, you know, the proper device, and whether I do a custom or behind the ear, it's not going to change the cost. Not for my practice. Now, the practice I came from, yeah, we got customs, they were more expensive. But I think you'll find working with us, we're very transparent. What you see is what you get. So, let's do this. This is my card. So you're not sure what your, well, you have your daughter's, oh, you have her home phone.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, is she married? Obviously.
Oh,
Yeah, okay. What's her husband's name? So if I call, I know.
Radkowitz. All right.
No, I got that. Her husband's name.
Oh, Michael.
Michael. That's fine. And what I can do you have any idea what time she typically gets home?
She works from 7 to 3:30 maybe.
Okay. So, I'll
What time are you here till?
Me? I'm here tonight. I'll be here until about 7. But what happens is after 4:30, we roll because the office managers leave.
So that you can't answer.
And no, I don't answer the phone anyway. And the phones roll to the answering service. So if you happen to, you don't have a cell phone where you have her number in it or anything?
I do. I have it at home.
You should always have a cell phone. If you were my mom, I'd tell you the same thing.
I didn't myself.
You should have a cell phone.
Well, listen to this. For a couple of years, I didn't know. So my daughter-in-law, for Christmas, they told me she wanted to get me these braces. My mother's not going to take it. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
But I told her that she pays for it. She's on a family plan, you know?
I do the same thing. I pay for my mother-in-law.
She, I mean, they have a lot of kids, you know?
Right.
Right.
Now, you should always have a cell phone in case you get into trouble. So if you were my mom, I'd tell you the same thing.
I don't have everything. Why don't get my boys found stuff?
Oh, I know. I'm not that worried about it. Because you know what happens? You have to keep in mind, you've had them in your ears for about 10 minutes. I want you to wear them for 6 to 8 hours a day. So 10 minutes isn't going to make an impact. the thing that you're going to keep in mind here is the longer you wear them, the more normal they will sound. All right, that's why we counsel our patients to wear them like that. If you wear them for 2 or 3 hours a day, you'll never get used to them. No, you will not. So what I'll do is this. I will. So for any amount, they're going to help you. Is that basically what it comes down to? Because we do have payment plans.
Give me some.
Well, let me do this for you.
Some ballpark figures here.
Well, I'm going to give you some ideas as far as what you would probably fit in your monthly. So let me see.
First of all, we'll get the total cost.
Yeah.
Then we can figure out how much money.
Well, I can do it as a calculation, so it's easy. I mean, you could do a very, very nice device from Starkey. Starkey, they're made in Minnesota. They're the largest privately held manufacturer of hearing aids in the U.S. Yeah. You could do a very nice custom for about $89 a month. Okay. I mean, I don't know your budget. It's none of my business. But if $89 would fit, you may or may not need your children. If it doesn't, then you know. So, is that something that you would do without them, or is that something that they would have to help?
Well, I have to take a loan on that. I want to pay it off before I die.
Okay.
And my car was demolished. My son gave me his wife's car. Of course, he had my son.
Sure, she didn't mind.
And they helped me out like that.
Okay.
They're the only one. I mean, they're all professional. Mark, he never went to school. He went to computer school too. The other ones, other than they were engineering, electrical engineering, other than kind of.
All professionals.
And Mark, he always says, I don't make the kind of money they do, but he helps me out on everything.
Okay. So most likely they would help you with this.
I think 3 of them would.
Okay. Well, that's fine. So what I'll do is this. I will talk to Denise. I'll try and reach her tonight. I don't know. I'm not going to promise but I'll try and reach her. Call. I'm very, just like her, I'm very hard to reach during the day. All right, so I'm with patients all day.
Can I call you with her cell phone number?
Absolutely. Not a problem.
I don't take it as a gift.
Yeah, Christy will give me the message. That's what they do, is they give me messages all day.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So let's see where we're at. Okay, I'll talk to your daughter.
No, how much is that, what's the total?
Well, here's what I would look at.
I would look at 4, 5, 6, 7,000.
Okay, not quite that much. What I would look at is this. The Starkey has hearing aids that run as high as $55.95 per book. Okay, now you have $500 for your hearing aid benefit from your supplement, okay, from Keystone, okay. So the set that I was recommending to you was 40. It would be, you have $45.95, so you have $500. They would be $40.95.
4,000.
Yeah. All right. So when I calculated it, you could get a an installment for $89 would be the least, and then you can pay ahead. You know, your children may want to put something on a credit card. You know, there's some options. Okay. That's just through us. I mean, if you have another way you want to do it.
That's whatever. She said, don't do anything until you ask and talk. We can have a meeting. But I mean.
It's not the first time I've done this. All right. I'm going to take those out of your ears.
I forgot this.
That's okay. Well, like I say, your canals are really small and very curved. This one fits in really nice. The other one, I had to do a lot of work with it. So I would rather just do customs, make it easy for you.
Customs not as expensive.
No, the same
Usually
cost.
customs are more, right?
That's right. But remember what I told you. For us, they're going to be the same. Okay? So the figure that I gave you is going to be the same regardless. Okay? I'm going to see if I can find a...
Let me write this down.
I'm going to write... That's exactly what I'm going to do for you.
Because I was going to write it all down because, I forget.
Well, it's easier to see it.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see if I can find it. are the Starkeys. Now, let's see what I would be looking at here. This would be, this one right here is the one that I would look at, the one I
It's
circled.
gonna fit into the canal.
Yeah, that's custom. These are all customs right here, but you don't need anything that big.
Okay.
So the I-70, which is what I'm looking at, what I'd recommend to you would be $45.95, and that's for a pair. That's for both. Okay.
Let's see, because I don't know, it's what, 55 or
Yeah,
something?
I would. Yeah, I think this one's going to be fine. $500 is your Keystone.
I didn't think they did. I didn't even know that. I'm gonna check with them.
You don't have
You
to.
know-
We just did.
You did?
Yeah, that's what I just told you.
Oh, okay. Wonderful, I didn't know that.
So they would be $40.95. Okay.
I talked to my daughter-in-law yesterday, and I said, I'm going to get my, so she said, my dad just got his $4,000.
All right.
So she knows, you
Yeah,
know.
that's all right. The thing you have to keep in mind is that, I mean, we're not the big box store that you go in, you know, get your bananas and get your tires rotated and get hearing aids, you know. We're an audiological practice, so the products that we have a they have a track record of success, and that's what we use.
And how long would this take?
About 2 weeks.
Oh,
Now, once I order them for you, it's going to take 2 weeks, and then when I do the delivery, it'll take 45 minutes. And what I would do when I do, I would do it here.
And then do I have to come back then, or do
Yeah.
I have any problems or something?
Well, what we're going to do, okay, we do a delivery, and then what happens is I bring you back after 2 weeks for your first follow-up. And then we bring you back again after 2 weeks for a second follow-up.
Okay.
All right? And then we'll see you every couple of months just to service the devices and make sure they're working properly. So we offer lifetime customer service. It's free. Free batteries, free services, free checkups.
Where do I get the batteries?
Right here.
Oh, really?
We do it all.
That's good. Show me how to do that.
Oh, of course.
You know what, I'm all right. You know what, I didn't know what to wear.
That's all right.
1 minute snow, next minute's rain,
Sure.
it's gonna be 60 degrees. Anyhow, I wish Denise was here because she just left 2 weeks ago, you know, she had an office in this building.
Right. Not many
She
here.
knew exactly where to go and tell me where to go, you know.
Yeah.
And I said she could leave, she could have left her office and come up here.
Yeah. Well, that's fine.
These things happen.
Well,
But, she's starting new, well, she's still working with the, in the umbrella, you know.
Uh-huh.
But it was her choice, you know.
Yeah.
She worked here about 30 years.
It's a long time. But we'll take good care of you. I'll talk to Denise. You can certainly, if she wants to call me today or however you want to do it, you know, I'll talk to her tonight before I leave. You know, I'll be happy to go over any questions that she has.
And then she can talk to the boys. I have 3 boys, 2 girls.
Okay.
And, I'm a little bit shocked at what you told me.
You'll be the first to say it.
Because when she said, you're not going to have hard of hearing. I think she wanted me to make me feel good, I guess.
Yeah. This is what we did today. There's no charge for your visit, but this is everything that we did.
That's wonderful.
Okay.
You did a lot of work.
Yes, we did.
Yes, you did. Now, how much, if I wasn't, what was it free, how much would it cost me for this?
Testing.
For all this that you did today, if it wasn't free, how much would it cost me?
Quite a bit.
A lot.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good for me.
Well,
I don't know about you.
It is what it is. So we do this testing every day. We have we take care of, remember, we have new patients, existing patients, you know, so it's all. All right. So.
Very nice meeting you.
Likewise. Thank you.
And hope to see you soon.
I would hope so too, and if we do this together, I would have Denise here for the delivery so we can all do it together. Okay?
When you put them in and out for me. Okay. Otherwise you could talk to her on the phone.
Yeah, I'll give her a call later on today, but you can call with her cell phone, whatever you'd like.
Okay.
All right?
Thanks a lot.
You're welcome, dear.
Thank you for
I'm going to walk up with you just trying to keep track of everything.
Thank you for everything.
But you didn't want to find out, but trust me, it's better that you find out.